Welcome to our special broadcast from Washington, D.C. to speak about the big Trump-Modi meeting. What's going to be on the table when trade discussions take place between the two leaders? Will there be a limited trade deal? And what impact will Elon Musk have on Donald Trump's trade vision vis-a-vis India? Will there be a message to China as well? To talk about this, I was joined by Mukesh Aghi, the president of US-India Strategic Partnership Forum. Listen in. What's the expectation? What's the mood ahead of the Modi-Trump meeting?
Well, the mood is very positive. You have two leaders who have worked together in the past, and they have a strong relationship. I think the objective is to set the agenda for the next 4 years. Yes, there'll be focus on geopolitics, there'll be focus on trade, there'll be focus on technology transfer, there'll focus on people to people. The relationship is strong, and I believe that the agenda which is going to be set up is going to make it stronger.
Right. Now, clearly, Trump's focus is on getting China to the table, making China to give them concessions, and somehow put a lot of pressure, ultimate pressure tactics on China. In the midst of this all, where does India fit in?
Well, you have to understand India has maintained strategic autonomy in every aspect because it has to live with China on its border. But at the same time, China also has taken a position that it will never treat India as an equal partner. So India has to find its own position. Now, it does not mean that it's going to be 100% dependent on the United States. It will leverage that relationship. It's going to partner in a way that is win-win for both countries, but at the same time, do not sacrifice its autonomy vis-a-vis China itself. More important is I think the Trump team, from a geopolitical perspective, will try to leverage its partnership with India to put pressure on China. And it all depends how far India goes managing that also.
Right. Now, in terms of the areas where the Trump administration is going to put pressure to reduce tariffs, which would some of those sectors be?
So you have to understand that the average tariff India has, even though after bringing it down, is down to 11%, whereas the average tariff of US is around 3%. So there is a gap, and I think there'll be a lot of pressure, especially on the goods which are being exported from the US into India to be brought down. I don't think there'll be pressure on the agriculture side because US protects its agriculture, so does India protects its agriculture. So it will be goods, especially I call the capital goods which are coming from the US into India. I think but the bigger picture would be I call market access and level playing field. It is important for US companies to explore India, to get access to the Indian market, but at the same time have a level playing field. And I think that's where the pressure points will come in.
Right. Now, when it comes to average tariffs in India, what's been your immediate recommendation, and do you expect that to figure in talks?
My recommendation is basically think out of the box. Don't think, hey, we'll let the strawberries coming from the US and then India can export something else. I think focus on a bigger picture. And the bigger picture would be all right, why don't we do this is absolutely no tariff between the two countries. Make it zero and see the reaction, because Trump has to protect its agriculture base. India has to protect its agriculture base. So I think you have basically put the ball in the court of Trump to manage that. So I think India should take the approach, no tariffs between the two countries, and see the reaction.
Realistically, can there be a trade deal during this visit, or there will be a roadmap?
No trade deal during this visit, but I think expectations will be set up to build a roadmap with certain timelines. And my thinking is that timeline would be when Trump comes to India for the Quad Summit to sign some kind of a trade deal with India.
Right. Elon Musk, broadly, he has been expected to have a meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Last year, he was slated to come to India. That did not happen. He went straight to China. What's going to happen this time around?
Well, obviously, government of India went way beyond his, I would say, dealing by bringing the tariffs down on EVs if you set up a manufacturing plant in India. And obviously, the Chinese used him to make sure he does not go to India. Chinese used him to embarrass the Prime Minister in the month of May during the peak elections itself. So I think there is a sense of, I would say, apprehension that will he keep up what he says? And so I think the onus is on Elon Musk now, whatever he says, to deliver on that, to build his credibility, because at the moment his credibility is zero.
Right. So, but do you expect him to probably launch Tesla, the low-cost models in India, Starlink, SpaceX? Are you expecting any kind of announcements in the next few months?
Well, you have to understand that the Tesla sales globally are coming down. So don't expect him to invest $3 billion to set up a new plant in another geography. So I don't expect that to come. But I think do expect some kind of approach and commitment from Elon Musk. I will do more sourcing for India, from India, so it can deleverage China also and provide that into the Berlin plant. But more important is I think once they announce a new car, which is a cheaper car, then Indian market becomes attractive for them. And they'll have to deal with, just like any other car company, deal with the tariff from that perspective. As far as the Starlink goes, he has ambitions to basically provide those services. And there are domestic opposition to that because it's going to strengthen the competition for Starlinks. So I think that's where give and take is going to take place. SpaceX, I think both, I would say ISRO and SpaceX can work together from the launch perspective, because I think SpaceX has the capacity to take heavy loads, and that's where the collaboration will take place between SpaceX and ISRO itself. So I think they are give and take, but I strongly believe now the onus is on Elon Musk to stand up to his commitment and deliver.
Right. Finally, one pain point which you hope that India will erase either during this visit or in the coming few months.
So I think you have to understand that the transport of illegal migration, at least there was a hue and cry from the opposition. And hopefully some kind of a deal will be done so you can move them on a humanitarian basis. And I think if nothing else, India can send its own planes to pick up those and bring them back. So that's, I call the short-term pain point. I think the bigger long-term would be is how do you look at mobility of professionals from India into the US? Because there is a crying need in the US for those professionals, but the H-1B visa process has worked and it has not worked also. So I think that has to be streamlined. That should not be shut down. And I think what we're going to see is this administration will find a way to recruit PhD in STEM program, graduate people from STEM program, and fulfill that need on a stronger basis.
Right. Finally, there have been a lot of reports which say there could be anywhere in the range of 700,000 to 750,000 Indians staying illegally in America. Now, what is the status of those individuals, and is there a threat of their deportation?
So I think you have to understand we have roughly around 16 million illegals in the United States, and they make around 6% of the labor force. If you deport all of them, what really happens is the workers in the field, the workers in the restaurant, the workers in the construction side, that is going to get impacted. That means that it has an impact on the inflation also. So you cannot, in every practicality, deport all of them. And that means a large number of Indians also will be part of that process itself. So I think while every effort is going to make to appease the base of President Trump, but from every practical perspective, you can't deport all of them. So yes, there will be compromises. Yes, there will be some deportation. But overall, I would say that from a photo opportunity perspective, they will deport. I mean, they just only sent a batch of 104. It could go into I would say 15, 20,000. But that's the number I see as the capacity.
All right, Mr. Aghi, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.